My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of No Exit. And this is a movie that I heard nothing about, but I saw the preview on the TV, and I'm just like, you know what, this looks like an entertaining little thriller. So I decided to give it a chance, and I'm fine that I did. It's not the most amazing movie that you're going to remember forever, but I don't regret watching it. Let's begin talking about the cast, first with the lead, played by Havana Rose Leo, who I thought did a good job in this movie. I thought she carried the movie very well. I think she hits those emotional notes that she needs to. And I haven't seen her in anything else, I believe, but this is a promising start to this actress. So good job for her. Then you've also got Danny Ramirez, who plays this character named Ash. And I don't really think he was memorable at all. I wish he was a bit more over the top, but he's fine for what the movie needed him to do. Then you've got this guy named David Rishadar. I definitely mispronounced that, and I guess he's fine. He's not bad, but he doesn't elevate the movie in any way. You've got Myla Harris, who doesn't have much to do, but she was fine for what she was given. Then you've got Dennis Haysbert, who I thought was really good in the movie. I enjoyed his presence whenever he was on screen. And then you've also got Dale Dickey, who was also pretty decent in this movie. So everyone in the cast did a fine job at what they needed to do, with some people standing out more than others. And this movie is directed by Damien Powell, who I think does a fine job. This movie is competently directed. It's lacking any bit of style or personality, but he does a fine job for the type of movie this is. I wouldn't say this is an intense or thrilling thriller. It's not a thrilling thriller. That sounds weird, but I would say it's just a consistently entertaining movie. There's no point in this movie where I was sweating, I was on the edge of my seat waiting to see what would happen next, but I was consistently entertained and enjoying what I was watching in this movie. And this movie is nothing new. You've seen this kind of movie done before, and you'll see this kind of movie done again and probably better. But not every movie needs to be something brand new. If you want to make a thriller, then at least make it entertaining. And if you do that, then no harm, no foul. It oddly reminded me of the Hateful Eight in moments. That's one movie I'll reference. Like, it's not like a spot-on comparison, but just some directions the story takes just kind of reminded me of that. The first act of this movie, I do think, was the strongest. I think they set up the scenario very well, they set up the characters very well, and there was this constant sense of paranoia in the first act, because there's this room filled with strangers, and you know that one of these people are not good. And you're trying to figure it out as the main character is. And there's this moment while they're playing this card game, and she's kind of asking people questions, trying to figure things out. And that was definitely the most invested I was in the storyline. But after, when we find out who is behind everything, I do lose a bit of interest. It's still entertaining enough, but it kind of turns into something much more generic. And there's this one moment where the movie reveals something about a certain character. It's near the end of the movie, and I just don't think this aspect was really needed at all. It doesn't bring the movie down, but it's just like, okay, that doesn't change the way I view this story or this character, so why put it in there? Another aspect of this movie that I found to be weak was the sound. There are some moments where you can just tell that it's meant to be impactful, but because of the way it sounded, it just took me out of the moment. Specifically one moment where someone shoots a gun, and you're just meant to be like, oh, wow, but instead I'm just like, oh, that gun sounded very quiet. It kind of just took me out of it. And there's also some noticeably bad moments of ADR. Like, there's this one moment where there's a character and she's breathing heavily, she's panicking, she's like, but her mouth is closed, and it's just the sound that she's making doesn't match up with the face that she's expressing, and it just takes you out of that moment. And I also do find this movie to be a bit too long. If this movie was an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and 20 minutes, I think it would have been perfect, because I do think it gets a bit too drawn out, especially in the last act. But this movie did manage to be a decent enough thriller. Is it the most amazing movie that's going to stay with you? Absolutely not. Is it a movie that I'm ever going to watch again? Probably not. But for just being an entertaining way to spend an hour and a bit of your life, this movie is acceptable. It's consistently entertaining, and even though I wouldn't call it intense or thrilling, it still does its job fine enough for me to say that I can kinda slightly recommend this movie. So I'm gonna go ahead and give No Exit a 5 out of 10, slightly leaning towards a positive. Okay, I have some spoiler thoughts on this movie, so if you haven't seen it, get lost. Get out of here. This ain't no place for you. If you have seen the movie, then keep watching because I'm about to go into spoiler territory, so that's your warning. So I really didn't like the last 10 minutes of this movie because I get that lots of movies do this, but I really hate this trend of when the character have a clear chance to kill someone that they don't. It always frustrates me. Every single time. Like the one brother just got shot in the head with a nail gun. The other brother still has the nail gun. They've got a gun. They just walk past the guy and go directly to the vehicle. Like, you know this guy is a lunatic. You know he just lost his brother. You know he has a weapon. Why would you not kill him right there? And it just killed any bit of momentum that this last act had because the character just snorted some cocaine, took a nail out of her arm, and then someone else ends up killing the brother, and she just walks out. Like, you have all this build up, like, oh, shit's about to get real, and what does she do? She just leaves. And then they have to find a way to keep it going, so of course the vehicle crashes, you know that's going to happen. And then you know there's going to be some kind of miscommunication and the guy trying to trick the police officer. And then you just know that she's going to find a way to survive. And it's just prolonging it to the point where you just lose interest. If the one brother got shot, he fell on his head, and then the guy just goes nuts. And like it just gets brutal and bloody and intense in that one moment, that would be a much better finale than whatever that was. I found it to be completely unsatisfying and it ended the movie on a weak note. Also, while I'm talking spoilers, the one moment where I was talking about where the sound ruined the impact was the moment where Dennis Hilbert's character gets shot. The way that the gun sounded in that moment, I didn't find it to be impactful at all. Like, it should have been this moment like, or they just killed him off. But instead I'm just like, that did nothing for me. And then the reveal that Dale Dickey was actually the maid for the little girl, I just don't think was needed. It didn't add anything to the character or to the plot. It just was an unneeded tone that wasn't necessary. But I do like the reveal that it was the two guys. I do think that was a well done element of the movie. So yeah, those are some additional spoiler thoughts. But have you seen No Exit? Well, if you just watched my spoiler thoughts, I assume you have. What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon, and Gavin out.